Please go to the diary room.
Every single season and learn everything that there is to know about everybody.
Please make your way to the diary room.
Celebrities, Randy. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Diary Room, a Big Brother podcast where we're trying to find the best player in Big Brother history. And boy, oh boy, are we getting closer and closer to the end of the first round of this competition. So a lot to get into as we pull our next 6 players today. Of course, I am Matt here first with Aman. Aman, how's it going?
Hey, I'm great. Officially in December as of the recording of this episode. So we can finally stop saying in December.
No, it really is now.
Well, we are here.
And
yes.
gotta feel like Aman would love to blue skidoo into the screen of our guest here today. Aman, a big Christmas guy, and this guy is decorated for the holidays like nobody else that I've seen. I don't know at all so far this holiday season. Returning to the podcast, you know him if you're a fan of the Mammoth Club on YouTube or wherever you get Mammoth Club content. It is Max. Max, how's it going?
Hello. Yes, if it's not December, I've really ruined the timing release of this episode. I have put us squarely in a holiday box for when this content should be placed. So yeah, I've brought the Christmas vibes all the way from Florida, hot Florida.
Well, do you think that stuff is going to come down immediately after the holidays? How long is that going to stay up for?
No, it comes down pretty quick, man. Okay. We celebrate holidays very early here in Orlando, but we do a quick transition afterwards.
You know, you say that, but I was just down in Florida for a quick Disney trip, and the Epcot Festival of the Holidays was not going yet. I was very annoyed.
Festival of the Holidays starts famously the day after Thanksgiving, but other Christmas decor went up on like November 10th. So with that one exception, we do generally decorate quite early. Right. Halloween starts in August, famously.
It does. I went to a Halloween party for my birthday, my 30th birthday last year, and
what?
They start the Magic Kingdom Halloween parties in August.
Yeah, it's like August 11th or 15th is around the first dates.
Damn, September can't even get any shine.
No.
Like, what are you gonna do in September?
It's back to school season, baby. Yeah.
I mean, you can still celebrate that in the parks, but whatever. Aman, when are you gonna step your game up and get some of this Christmas decor going behind you?
I don't have any place to put it behind me. There's more space like over there and the other side, but it's off camera. So I would have to like change my whole setup. But I do have my Christmas tree. It's sitting over there in the corner. I just haven't put it together yet.
Well, we'll
maybe when I turn it on, some of the light, you'll be able to see the light.
Sure.
The secret is I only decorate within this one box, and then there's no other decorations anywhere in the rest of my abode, you know?
I think what's really getting me the most is the rotating lights that are going around the room. Cause like anybody can put up a tree, some lights, all that stuff. But like the lights that are moving around, like that is keeping my eye drawn to the background there.
Thank you. And if it's not that, it's Climbing Santa.
Oh my God, I didn't even see him there. He's such a background character, quite literally. Mm-hmm. Wait, what is he? He's going down? If you're not watching,
he's on a ladder. He's on a ladder.
He's on a ladder. He's up and down always.
Is he going to be up at the top again in like a minute?
In just a moment, he'll be back up.
I guess early plug if you are looking to see this background more often. Max is on Twitch quite often.
Yeah, twitch.tv/Mr. Duckfist. Come and hang out Tuesdays and Saturdays.
And again, if anybody is familiar with you, Max, it's generally from Mammoth Club, but it's not just theme park and Disney and all that stuff over there, right? You guys are playing games and doing more.
Yeah. Yeah. The YouTube channel primarily does theme park, themed entertainment and travel content. But on streams, we'll do anything from kind of game show related content, variety content. Sometimes I talk about reality shows like Big Brother, or drama on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, whatever has caught my attention at the moment.
Is that the current one?
I do have. Oh, yes. I went on quite a rant about Fruity Pebbles just the other day, Matt. It was a dramatic day for the Mormon Wives.
Sorry if I'm on. This isn't I guess your lane, but I haven't started season 3 yet. I'm literally about to tomorrow. But Whitney, of course, has been busy on Dancing with the Stars, which I was just covering over on RHAP. And today was announced that she's going to be on Broadway,
and has apparently already sold out shows of Chicago just from that announcement.
So kind of
Crazy.
crazy. But I don't know. I had another place that I was planning to go. So we were talking about Twitch. We were talking about. I had a good place to go next, and I lost it, but that's fine. So no, I got it. Aman. You
Yes.
and I, in the world of I don't know, I guess RHAP in general, we've seen many a tier list, right? Like all of the, S tier, A, B, C, D, whatever the tiers are for whatever the ranking is. One of the things that I get the most, one of the things that I want to commend Max and friends the most for is when they do a tier list, they have a physical board behind them.
Oh, let me get it.
Oh,
Now we
are
get
you
a
about to ask us to get a board?
This right here. This is the big
That's the
board
board.
right here.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's still
I
set
didn't
up
know it was
from when
nearby.
we ranked every attraction in Walt Disney World. That's
Is
the
it
last
magnetic?
setup. No, it's Velcro.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, so I just print out and laminate and then put Velcro on the back of them. So yeah, bring a little physical component with the big board.
Obsessed with it. And I could get into that ranking, but that's not the time or place right now. We're here to talk about Big Brother. Max, a big theme park guy. Obviously, all the content comes from that world, but also a big fan of Big Brother. And a lot of the streams throughout the Big Brother season have to do with Big Brother. Max, what do you think of the season, BB27?
Yeah, I enjoyed the season. I started out watching more live feeds than I would end up watching toward the end of the season. That's kind of my normal I guess churn, but I enjoyed it. I guess I don't really have any hot takes here, y'all. I mean, I also watched the hamster wheel of death happen, so but ultimately a great ending. I was certainly happy with how it all concluded.
Aman, I'm gonna guess you haven't seen it yet, just because I know you're a busy guy. But literally today, well, not the season. The cast today posted a TikTok, Instagram, something. If you go to I'll say go to Rachel's page on Instagram if you haven't seen it yet. They're doing like the 14 days of BB27. I don't know what's going on, but I just saw a bunch of them in a bunch of boxes. I don't know if they're singing, if they're going to be performing.
Big
Brother
wait,
27,
14 days as in like the Christmas song, like that type of deal?
Yeah. I
Interesting.
also don't see the entire
Why
cast here.
14 days?
Is it 14 of the house guests that are appearing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 14 of them are there. Notably absent from this little project. I did not see Vince. And I have to scrolling away to get to it. I don't know who else is missing here, but there were 17 house guests. Rachel is here. Is Ava here? Ava's there.
Morgan, Ashley, Zach, Lauren.
How compelling is this?
Keanu, Rachel. Yeah, this is
Jimmy.
This is some high tier content right here as we look at other content.
All I know is that Vince is missing.
Vince
maybe
is definitely
he
not
wasn't
here.
getting paid. He was like, if it's not a paid partnership, it's not gonna be me.
Unimportant, but so that's what the cast is up to, which I guess does merge at least among again your loves of Christmas and Big Brother, so it might be something you're interested in.
I would definitely have to go back and watch this. It looks cute. It looks very cute.
Max, did you checked out for feeds by the time that the Vince and Morgan feeds were up and running, or were you a little bit back in for all that?
Oh, listen, I mean, even when I'm checked out with feeds, I do tune in for my daily update from Taryn on what's going on. So I am very aware of the Vorgan of it all, and saw some of the drama that came out afterwards. By drama, I just mean some of Morgan's comments on Twitch streams and the curtain conspiracies of is this her house, and I like all that stuff. So I'm somewhat up to date.
Yeah, it's been a crazy postseason. Don't feel like it's anywhere near over, especially with Vince not being in this video. I'm sure people are going to be wildly speculating what's going on. But I don't know. Maybe he's just taking a healthy approach to post Big Brother life, God forbid, and just relaxing a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one person that doesn't need any like overexposure, it would probably be him.
I hope for him that he has his priorities right and is focusing on just making life move forward, you
Mhm.
know?
I mean,
Yep.
when he's not being bothered by the paparazzi.
Right.
Those photos are just popping up left and right.
Oh,
But
jeez.
I'm sure everything's going as okay as possible over there. Holiday season, so we'll see what more content we get in these 14 days. By the time this podcast comes out, if it's truly 14 days, you will have seen all of the 14 days of Big Brother 27. So I'm intrigued. We don't have reindeer games, but we do have that, and we have this podcast to keep us busy in the off season here. All right. Before we get to the wheel, Max, last time you were here, I did a very stupid project. I don't know if you remember well enough. The
I think you took Disney characters and put them into Big Brother, if I remember
did that.
correctly.
I did
Yeah.
that. I took all of the main characters from Mickey's PhilharMagic, which I did get to see on my trip because it reopened early. So shout out to me. Put them in a brand steal, and it was a very silly activity. I don't have that activity today, but I do have a question that I thought I wanted to propose to both of you. What would happen or what would a theoretical Big Brother theme park look like? Suppose Epic Universe is like, we need one more land,
And it's Big Brother.
and it's gonna be Big Brother.
Yeah.
What are the rides like? I have to pick every ride, but like, what attractions are we looking at based off what Big Brother offers?
Mm.
I mean, ooh, that's interesting.
I think there. I'll answer first with the answer that came to mind. I think there would be some kind of like kids ride carousel that would be the key wheel, and everybody sits on a key.
Oh,
goes in a
sure.
circle.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah, I feel like so many of the rides would be like based off of the competitions, right? Like you'd have your OTEV ride, you'd have
How is that a ride?
your hey, it would probably be a gigantic like slip and slide, maybe like a water ride or something like that.
Like in the new Mario Land in Epic, they have like Bowser's Challenge, so I could see like OTEV's Challenge or something like that. Like some kind of,
Yeah.
I like that.
yeah.
I like that.
I'm trying to think.
And would it be like based on some of these legendary players? Like, would there be like Dr. Wills, evil Dr. Doom ride?
Well, he should be a walk around character, obviously. Just like
Someone dressed up as Dr. Will.
yeah, but like a full costumed character, you
That
know.
would be good. Yeah.
Would it be the ones that don't speak? Or it's like
Yeah,
a cartoon head?
yeah,
or is
correct,
it like
yeah.
Yeah, no, you would get
like
Mr.
a
Spectacular.
Funko Pop look.
Mr. Spectacular would walk around with the muscle suit,
Sure.
or maybe the Santa suit.
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like I could see this.
I'm thinking I'm gonna go in like, you know, I think of theme parks as, yes, there are rides there, but also there's a lot of different types of experiences you have at theme park. I'm thinking customized key merchandise items, right? Where you get your name on a key, obviously.
Yes.
I'm thinking we need a food and beverage location where you can eat slop. And maybe we do a little throwback and have some PB&J as well. Why not? Why not hit both eras? I think we're going to need at least a photo experience or some kind of challenge where you get on the wall.
Yes.
Right. We're going to have a wall somewhere. And I'm going to throw it back to like the backlot tour of it all. And I think that like a little of how does the sausage get made, or like showing where like the cameras in the walls go, or talk about the production, maybe like little Universal Studios or old MGM Studios, now Hollywood Studios, of like how's the TV made.
Well, the cool part about some of these restaurants, when they do it right, is like you can sometimes feel like you're stepping into the world. The main restaurant in this land should be the Big Brother house replicated. Like you should be able to sit in a chair in the fake Big Brother kitchen, or I don't know, a room that looks like the HOH room or something like that to have your slop.
Yeah. I can see all of the robes being sold now.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ducks, rubber duckies everywhere.
Yeah. The fun thing. Go ahead, Matt.
No, I was just gonna say you probably have like statues of things, so maybe a rubber ducky statue along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The fun thing I always look for, of course, is like little Easter eggs. And so to your point, Matt, I'm gonna yes and you. It not just in the restaurants, but in all the buildings. I think the fun thing would be like, which room out of which season's house do you put in, and like what Easter eggs do you put in within those
Yes.
rooms. You know, like what little bits for the super fans do you throw in there as they're dining or shopping or what have you?
Would be fun. I mean, this is not the same thing at all. But like Survivor has really started to, in the past couple of years, like do a traveling like Survivor experience across many different cities. And I think they currently have like a bar in Boston that you could go and kind of just like step into the world a little bit. I don't know if the Big Brother does
Is
that
it like
as
a
often.
pop-up bar or like a permanent bar?
I don't think it's permanent, but I think it's been set up for the entirety of season 49. I think I could be wrong. I haven't seen it.
Interesting.
Netflix
Okay.
is doing a bunch of those too, right?
Yeah.
Netflix just has like a standing area that's got like a bunch of shows integrated. Maybe, you know, CBS
Yeah,
could
I
do
have
something
seen
that is
that.
like Amazing Race and Big Brother and Survivor, some kind of experience that you could go to.
Yeah.
That, you know, Netflix did the Squid Games experience.
Mhm.
Yeah, I they had that in New York City, a state that I have a lot of access to when I used to live there, or in the state of New York at least. Never was able to make it. Every time that I tried to go, something went wrong.
Mm.
So wasn't made to be.
They had a really cool pop-up SVU bar in New York, and I really wanted to go, but I'm so pissed about it. It looks so cool. It looks so cool.
I would sign me up. I'd be in the Big Brother land right away. I was just actually complaining to Max before we got on about my complaints about Epic Universe, but that would make it better. That would make it all better. People are saying Epic Universe not good enough. It needs Big Brother land.
That's what everybody's saying, Matt. Yeah,
Everyone is saying.
nobody can stop talking about it. Yeah, how
I
much
just
it
had a
needs
rough
Big
day.
Brother.
It's that's on me and my experience. I went on a bad day, but that's okay. All right, are we ready to get to this wheel? And I will say this ever so small wheel, Max. It's not your fault. We're at the end of the round.
I'm ready, baby. I
I'm
love
gonna
a small
start off.
wheel. It's you know, I feel like the stakes are raised, you know.
I don't know how to explain how high the stakes are here because, Max, we've gone through so many players in this round. Let me tell you two players that we have not had yet, and that is Dan Gheesling and Will Kirby.
It is wild to me that both of them are still on the wheel. When you sent me the list, I was like, hey, I need to, you know, remind myself of some of these players that maybe weren't around for long. Seeing both their names, I was like, wow, still? Like,
Yeah.
Yep. And there's other big names here. I just saw Cody go past, Boogie. We have Nokomis still on the wheel. There are a good amount of Big Brother 27 players. If you haven't noticed, this is a Big Brother US heavy wheel here today. And there's plenty of layups along the way, but like I tell you, I read the comment section of some of these podcasts. People are terrified for the Dan versus Will round one matchup.
I let's see it. Let's do it right now.
Max, I meant to bring up, you had some big names your last time here.
I did.
Oh, no.
That's true. Yeah. I let's bring that energy right now. Let's roll those two into each other immediately.
I think that could happen. Amon, last time Max was here was the episode that both Taylor Hale and Nicole Franzel advanced to the next round.
Yeah, 2 winners, and that could happen again because I see some winners here, and like honestly, if Dan or Will doesn't get drawn this time, they're paying the wheel off. Like that's all I can say is like what is going on?
Yeah. So like just to be super specific, this isn't every remaining US player, it's most of them. So it's not like, you know, with everyone available, they are still avoiding us if they don't come up today, but what the hell is going on if it doesn't happen? So without further ado, let's see where we're kicking things off.
Oh my god.
Dan versus Will, let's go.
No.
Dan versus Will, let's go.
Well, it's not going to be the first name here, but the first name is a winner.
Oh, it might not be.
Oh, no, it's not. It's not. Oh, no, it's not.
I was so close to getting a third winner.
Wow. It was almost Ashley Hollis for those not watching the video here, but instead we're going back to Big Brother 3 and we're talking about Roddy Mancuso.
Does this, oh wait, I was about to ask, does this, wait, no, there's still people from Big Brother 3 left. Okay.
Yes, he is not the last one, but I think he is very, very close. Let's see who's left from Big Brother 3. Lori, the first boot of the season, is our final player.
Just the two of them. Nice.
Yep.
Okay.
Just them. But we have Roddy here. Amon, we have notes to kick us off.
We do. All right. Roddy began the game as a member of the Cartel Alliance with his showmans Kiara, and Danielle pegged Roddy as a major threat, secretly targeting him. After surviving eviction on Kiara's HOH, he lost her the following week. In week 8, Roddy was nominated for a third time against Amy. Amy promised that if she ever had the silver POV, she would use it to save him. However, when Amy won the silver POV, Roddy told her he wouldn't be able to promise that he'd vote to keep her. Amy decided to go back on her word and not save Roddy, and he was then evicted by a vote of 3-0, placing 6th.
Max, remind me, you might have said this last time. I forgot. Were you watching the show live back then, or is a lot of this binge after the fact?
No, so I mean, I was pretty young, but I started watching live with BB1. Wow. And I think, influenced by parents at that point. And so I definitely watched live through the first few seasons. And then I've gone back and sort of reappreciated some of these older seasons now that I'm a bit older, but I definitely was watching as a quite young person.
Jealous of anyone with that experience, truly, because that wasn't me, unfortunately. But what do you remember about Roddy from either then or more recent watches?
I think mostly what I remember about Roddy is the way that Danielle sort of pegged Roddy as like, that guy's a problem. Yeah. And then the way she portrayed Roddy in the DRs and how that was maybe not well received by Roddy, of course, from the jury getting to watch all the DRs and ultimately Danielle, unfortunately, not winning that game. But I think that's the thing that sticks out to me most about Roddy is just that relationship and the way that Danielle called out what was happening.
Yeah. He was definitely one of the first to have the archetype of like the mastermind thrown at him, really like helped create like what that would mean for the game. I think he kind of like really understood like his own positioning as well. For the most part, I mean, there were a few blind spots, obviously, one being Danielle, but I think he kind of like, he understood that he was expendable to a lot of people. He understood who was dangerous, and then like what alliances were like the most stable and where he could kind of like fit in. So I feel like, he had a very calming presence, non-threatening. He just sort of like created this vibe of like, I'm going to be logical, I'm going to be fair, I'm just going to be level-headed, I'm just going to, coast my way through. Not a bad player.
Not at all. It tells you obviously a lot, not that we didn't already know this, about Danielle and Jason and how strong they were in that game and what they were doing in that game, that you have a guy as good as Roddy was by most accounts, and he doesn't even sniff the finale. I mean, look, 6th place is close enough, especially for Big Brother 3, but like, not 5th, not 4th, not 3rd. He was just clocked by Danielle very early on. And what Roddy has going for him throughout a lot of that game is his connection to Jason, where I don't know that it was blinding Jason to any major extent, where it was like Jason was going to give up his game for Roddy. He, I think, always probably knew that Roddy was a big threat as well, but they had a good relationship. And the week that everyone wants Jason to use his HOH to get Roddy out, and Jason's like, no, can we not? What if I just don't do that because Roddy's not going to come after me anytime soon, or really at all? So just that ability to connect, just like Danielle did, with one of the strongest social players that is a solid guy to move through the game with. Roddy was trying to do the same thing, but Danielle just did it a little bit better. But overall, really good. Like the flirting with Amy that he highlights, that he's doing pretty intentionally towards the end of the game. Use what you got. Plenty of players did after him, maybe one or two before him as well. He is a pretty charming guy, and it's probably going to work out for him more often than not, but not up against Danielle.
I think that Amon's point, I just want to call out, like, for somebody this early in the game's history to understand their positioning, like today you have so many people to look back on and sort of study their games. And I think that I give additional weight to somebody that can be put in that mastermind archetype in season 3, because the book wasn't fully written, we did. Yes, you could watch Will, but outside of one season where the game was created, it hadn't evolved at all. You couldn't watch Danielle Reyes. You were playing against her as more of the book was written. And so I think you have to just even more appreciate somebody that can come into it without as much to look back on and say, no, I understand the game and I can make reads that are good.
Yeah.
I feel like he was playing a game that we would see like in later seasons just so early on. And it was a big strength, but also, when you're playing with somebody like Danielle, who's kind of like, playing chess while you're playing checkers, it's kind of hard for you to circumvent that. I feel like he kind of had like this air of like, I can logic my way through everything. And it's like, not if there's someone that's been emotionally manipulating half the house into thinking that you're just going to be this massive target and that no one can beat you in the end. You have to be able to game a little harder than that, or at least game around it. And I just don't think that he was really able to do that. But, definitely Danielle's greatest threat to winning that game for sure. I mean, aside from Lisa, obviously.
I also feel like he, within that group, he starts off the game with Kiara, Lisa, Eric, like just very impressive that he is able to kind of survive through how much everyone was looking at them as the big threats that they were. And while Danielle, again, is very aware of the threat that he was, Eric is gone, Kiara is gone, Lisa, of course, is going to end up being the winner, but it's a different story, a different path that both of them take. Roddy kind of has to march forward on his own while still having the connection with Jason, but like it's a lot more individual of a path for him, I feel like, than Lisa, who Danielle was looking to pull in and work with along the way and have like this other relationship with. And so, I'm not by any means, of course, discrediting Lisa. We love Lisa around here. But I don't know, it's just a different level of the game that Roddy had to play that Lisa was able to work more closely with Danielle and Jason than Roddy ever could have because of Danielle and Roddy's, butting heads.
Yeah.
And he did a good job with Marcellus talking about, the flirt game of it all. So used what he could. But we have to find Roddy an opponent. That was quite scary to get started. Almost was Ashley. And when it was almost Ashley, I said, okay, it's going to be Ashley versus Dan or Will in my head.
Oh, man.
Shall we?
Let her rip, baby. How many winners are on here? 3?
I know it's at least 3. No, 4.
4.
Boogie, I saw Boogie. Is it going to be Ashley? Wait.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be Ashley.
Let's go.
Oh, boy.
Oh, poor
boy,
Roddy.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Well,
oh, dear. Oh,
she evaded the wheel the
Roddy.
first time around. Not so much this time.
Yeah, I think your wheel's weighted. It's tried to land on the same spot twice. What's going on here?
Adjust the timer or something like that. I don't know. But Big Brother 27 winner, Ashley Hollis, part of the 14 days of Big Brother 27.
Well, I think we know Roddy's moving on here, so we can just
thanks for coming, Ashley. No, also a lot of discourse happening right now about Ashley and Morgan. Shout out to Eth Animal, 2-time guest of the podcast, put out his Ashley 3-hour-long video explaining through her game. And the discourse got picked right back up again. Team Ashley versus Team Morgan, because God forbid we just give both of them credit and say both of them played a really good game, but Ashley won.
Yeah. I mean, and I think, unfortunately, because her game is so understated, people are going to be litigating her win for the rest of time. Unfortunately, I just think that her story is just not as clear cut to, I guess, the naked eye, as it were. And so people are always going to find plenty of reasons for her not to have won. For those that actually watched feeds, you could see there are plenty of reasons for her to win. Was it a perfect game? No, but it was a damn good one. So, like, hey, what you gonna do? There are actually notes.
No notes. Wait, there are now.
There are.
I might just say we forego them because we just watched this season. I don't know if you feel the same, but we just watched this.
I mean, it's let me give Ashley
future-proof yourself.
Let me give Ashley her props here. Let's see what how they have decided.
The great authors at BB Wiki have come to write about her.
Yes. Okay. Ostracized night 1 due to her perceived overuse of the HOH shower. Ashley had a rough start to the game, only surviving by winning the first POV. Despite her ditzy persona and losing 2 close allies early on, she became a strategic force, with her evading becoming Lauren's week 3 target and removing suspicion of Mickey Lee's special power and co-founding the judges, an alliance that secured Morgan and Vince to her side. Though she lost her closest number and had to flip the vote against another ally early in the jury phase, Morgan and Vince won the next 4 HOHs and brought Ashley alongside them under Morgan's peer pressure due to her benign facade. After reaching the final 3, Ashley won the final HOH and evicted Morgan. Ashley's strategic wit combined with Vince's poor jury management led to her victory in a 6-1 vote.
Max, I think that was a good point about let the history books, it's going to be a couple years from now. Maybe it won't be so fresh in our minds. So I'm glad we read it.
There you go.
But Max, let me turn to you. Talk me through your experience in the final couple of days of Big Brother 27. A lot of us were definitely thinking Morgan had this wrapped up. And next thing you know, finale comes around, Ashley wins.
Yeah, I mean, I was delighted. I think a lot of folks were as well. As I said, I had been keeping up with the updates. And so I had heard this, I was not just watching the episodes, which I think to your point, to both your point, I believe, just did her an incredible disservice in terms of actually showing how she was participating in the game and why she would be deserving of a win. Watching the finale, though, I think you got everything you needed because, guys, she just cut Vince to pieces in the way she answered the questions and, her final speech. It was just a no contest victory right there as they sat in the chairs, in my opinion. But I think that it was nice to see it. I also walked in thinking, well, if Morgan wins, she's going to win. It's just impossible. But I thought it would be interesting if Ashley went against Vince, and I was very curious how the way he had rubbed some of the jurors wrong would go against a game that I think is harder to articulate. But hopefully if they were there alongside her, they'd be able to better see what she was talking about. And so I didn't know that Vince and Morgan were going to stay up all night for the final week, and Vince was going to be just so ill prepared to talk about anything on finale night.
Yeah.
I couldn't have predicted it,
I mean, we went through hell in the middle of that season, but the last couple of weeks, I mean, I'm already doing it. I'm already here, like a couple of weeks later, reflecting like, wasn't that fun? Wasn't that a fun finish? And we knew it was going to happen, but oh my God, Ashley, so already underrated for what she did this entire season. She was consistently talked about throughout the season of like never in the lens of like, oh, we see that she's a candidate to win. Of course, when you like did the rankings or did the stock watch, like she was on the higher end of like a bunch of really low players, like really bad players along the way, or some really bad players or people just playing poorly. But Ashley just always had decent reads. And I say decent rather than like perfect, because there were plenty of times that things slipped or maybe somebody was getting in her ear and giving her bad information. Go all the way back to like the early game where she's talking to Amy about, is Rachel actually with us or not? When very clearly Rachel was. So like not perfect by any means, but navigating that house and what it took to get through to some of those players, and the way that she went to like events when there was so much on the line that Vince could have put Rachel up, and all of the work that Ashley's put in to have Rachel as the shield for her that worked really well all the way through. When Rachel goes out of the game, if she lost her earlier, that's a big detriment to her game. And she puts in some solid work with Vince after Morgan's already put in all this work, like putting in like the really hard, like do this all night long. And then Ashley comes in with a much more gentler approach. Like, I understand, you probably want to weigh it out and think both. She just always seemed to know how to talk to people in the context of game talks. There were plenty of times that she would go up to somebody and just like say something super off. There were definitely there. She had her moments that just like out of nowhere, she's talking to Will and like they had like a tiff at some point, and you're like, what the hell? These two are something happened here, or whatever the situation was. There was a couple of times that happened, but within game talks, she was usually pretty locked in. And you go all the way to the end of the game where, as Max was saying, she just runs over Vince to win the game. It's good stuff, Amon.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because, famously, as we just talked about, she was pretty high on people's lists in the beginning, like drafting wise. And then the feeds come on and apparently she's been taking too long showers and she's kind of unapologetic about it. And everybody's like, oh God, no, Ashley, what are you doing? And it feels like she then was able to get scared. She had a scare and then pulled the brakes a little bit, or pumped the brakes rather. And that's when I feel like she really was able to temper herself throughout the rest of the game, where she kind of just remained this ever-present like voice in someone's ear, whether it needed to be, just a sounding board for someone, if they needed to vent to her, if they needed advice, if it was about working together, even for a short period of time. She was kind of always just there, like naturally inserting herself into a scenario to a point where it kind of felt like she was invisible. And so again, I understand why people are like, how the hell did she win? But she was just always there, talking, watching, observing, and like you said, sometimes would still say some stuff that's like, okay, girl, like when she got into that little tiff with Mickey talking about, oh, I can't believe you put up Jimmy, he was never coming for you, what are you doing? And I'm like, girl, shh, like, don't
Final
piss her
five,
off.
she's telling Keanu how dumb he is and how everything that he thinks about in the house is wrong. She came for him so.
She wasn't wrong though.
No,
She
wasn't.
wasn't.
Not about being dumb, but like that every read was wrong. That's
Yeah.
Isn't it wild that Amon, you just read a Big Brother winners wiki, and the first line is she took too long of HOH showers. Isn't that just a wild first sentence on a winner's wiki?
And we're sitting there at the beginning of the season, or at least some of us thinking like, this is Taylor again. Like they are just treating her like shit for nothing. Like this time it was for a shower. Last time it was because Taylor put on a dress, just like the stupidest shit to nitpick for. And the way that she was being talked about for a couple of days, it wasn't to the level of what Taylor went through.
Long shower is kind of annoying.
It wasn't that long. Like it truly, like the edit made it look so much worse. This has been confirmed in 1,000 different places. It wasn't that bad.
Now let's keep up the heat. I'm with them all. Let's just turn that stovetop up higher.
And another thing,
yeah, probably didn't have any hot water either. I think the thing that this isn't just about Ashley. I think this is about multiple Big Brother players, but I think the thing that is difficult, and I'm not going to obfuscate blame for production because I do think they had written her off, and I don't think gave her an edit that told her story. But I do think that the way Ashley played, it's hard to see the impact of those moves in the moment. And so when you're planning an episode, I think if you go, well, what has happened that we need to show? That one conversation she has with Ava may not make the top of your list because you don't actually see the payoff of that conversation until 2 weeks from now. Yeah, right. Yeah. And so, it's so easy to see, oh, well, when somebody does a competition, they win. Here's what they do with that power. Yeah, of course, that has to be in the episode because you immediately see they like fought, they won, they got power, they used power. And so the impact is so clear. But when you are playing a predominantly social game, often the seeds that you're planting start blossoming down the line. And I think it is a story that's much easier to tell in retrospect than it is moment to moment, week to week, episode to episode. Again, I think that production probably over indexed on she probably wasn't a serious threat to win. But I do think that creators that get to talk about Ashley's story today get to tell a much fuller version because now you can actually put all the pieces together and say, this allowed this, which allowed this, which allowed this. But in that moment, you're going, oh, that conversation with Ava was fine, but like, that's not of the same level as flipping somebody's vote, which might be happening in the HOH room.
Yeah. She put in the work week after week with those little conversations that you're talking about where she was not in danger. She went on the block 2 times, 3 times. I don't know, like not counting the first week in that whole debacle. Mind you, that first veto that she wins, if she doesn't win that, we're not talking about her as the winner. She's literally the first boot. But she really just set herself up so well with so many people that she wasn't their first, second, third choice. At a certain point, if she needed to go on the block as the 4th choice, it wasn't that they wanted to get her out. She stays against Will, and of course there's more reasons. There's understandable reasons to get Will out. He's a social guy, all that stuff. But she put in the work, and I really want to highlight before we get too far away from her final 3 work of getting in Morgan's head. And I think Morgan might say that that's not the case. I don't know if she maintains that she didn't feel like Ashley convinced her of anything. But from what we saw, it really did look like that Morgan was about to cut Vince and take Ashley because Ashley was really hyping up that one of you was going to win the game, whoever cuts the other. And Morgan said, yeah, I think you're right. And she was going to cut her. Ashley was going to be there regardless. Ashley was going to lose to Morgan at the final too. So that's not, you still have to mention that, but she was still going to get to the final two, whereas you wouldn't have expected that to be the case otherwise. So,
I think there are so many people that are talking about whether or not, she deserved to win or whatever. I really just think that it just ignited a conversation about like, what type of winner do you like? What do you prefer flashiness when it comes to your Big Brother winners? Because if so, then you're probably not going to really think too highly of Ashley's game. If you prefer the understated and you're more of like the, social wheeling and dealing, that's what really gets you going, then you're going to think that her game is a smorgasbord to feast on, right? So it really just depends. Like, what do you like? I personally like a nice little blend of the two. So, I think she's fine as a winner. She's just not the most flashy winner, but that's okay. That's okay.
The end of the day, all that is required for you to be a winner is to survive the final two and get the majority of the votes from the jury. She did that, right? So is she deserving of winning? Well, nobody else did that. So she deserves to win. That doesn't mean that she has to be your favorite winner. That doesn't mean that like she has to have played your favorite type of game, but she did what she had to do to win. And, there were other people that could have done that.
Yep.
I also want to highlight the moment where she votes for Jimmy to stay and then goes back in and tries to change her mind.
An all-timer. She created an all-timer Big Brother moment.
An all-timer almost doesn't begin to cover it. It's just, it is
no.
Like I think of
Julie in that moment is so good.
When I think of like last season's like highlighted moment, 26's highlighted voting confessional time, I think of Mackenzie when she went to vote to keep Chemo and evict, I think, Joseph in that vote. And she's sitting there and she's just like really just contemplating everything in life. And she's just so emotional. And then she like looks and finally casts her vote. It was like the closest comparison of that for me, of like this season's diary room moment. Never forget it. We have to vote on a winner.
Sorry, Matt. The last thing I'll say. That moment is, if Julie Chen is not the host of Big Brother, that moment is not nearly as good as it is because she is the host of Big Brother, right? If any other host is there, it would come back and they'd be like, just for the record, this is not like, she wouldn't have in the moment like, no.
Julie was offended. No. She said, you will not do that. Not under my watch.
That's such a Julie Chen move. It's so good.
No. And Ashley says she heard none of that. So she wasn't even sure. Apparently. Anyway, we have to vote. Roddy, Big Brother 3 versus Ashley, winner of Big Brother 27. Max, as our guest, would you like to kick things off?
Oh, sure. I'll make the controversial pick of Ashley over Roddy. Again, I think we talked up Roddy's abilities, especially for an early season, but he didn't win Big Brother. So I think this is cut and dry for me.
I honestly kind of feel like you could make some comparisons of Lisa to Ashley, and he lost to Lisa. He's maybe going to lose to Ashley too, but we'll see. Amon?
Get him out of here. I mean, well, no disrespect to Roddy because Roddy's great, but I mean, it's Ashley. It's hard thought.
It's 3-0 here for Ashley, but I will say Roddy had a patron vote. So that is a really tough matchup for Roddy here. I see so many scenarios where that man goes through to the next round automatically. But shout out to Joey who put his vote on Roddy. Unfortunately, it doesn't help here.
Sorry about it, but it was for Ashley. It was for Ashley.
And look, that battle back vote, Roddy's getting votes. I don't know if he's winning. We're at the beginning of this current battle back vote right now. I think it's the second episode into it. So could be some tough competitors, Dan or Will when they face off against
Dan
each
or
other.
Will is the next match.
We're going to knock one of them out right now. Let's go.
It could happen, but we'll see what Roddy gets in the battle back vote because he probably does not deserve to go out in round 1, but he did. So far, he did. Let's see who's next.
Let's keep up my streak of 2 winners.
Oh my gosh, I'm nervous.
Ooh. Up next. Oh,
shit.
Wow.
I'm over the moon. Now roll Will Kirby. Let's do it.
The time has come. No, I almost want to spin the wheel again right now because I'm so scared.
Let's do it.
Do I spin the wheel again?
Just to see who it's going to be?
Yeah.
Fuck it. Do it.
We've never done that, right? What
do
if it's Will?
I want to see what happens.
If it happens, I called it.
Oh, there's 5 winners on there. Mike Boogie's on here. We forgot about Mike Boogie.
Okay, Dan Gheesling versus.
Come on, give me Will Kirby.
Oh,
Oh hell no! This is
oh, damn.
no.
Lori.
Are we
Roll
knocking
into
out
Lori.
BB3?
Roll into Lori.
Oh my god!
Oh,
Damn.
Oh.
Damn.
All right. Well, besides from the fact that Big Brother 3 just got murdered, it was almost, for those not watching, it was almost Dan versus Nokomis.
That would have been sad. That would have been sad.
If Nokomis and Roddy got sent out in the same episode, Max, I think people might like tell us you can never come back or something. I don't know.
not my
I'm sure
fault to
you
get rolled
blame-
against Dan and Ashley. You know.
So the matchup here, unprecedented that we just did what we did, rolled both names at once, but just needed to find out. Okay, Dan Gheesling was the first name. He has finally arrived here on the wheel in round 1 of the diary room. Max has gotten now Ashley and Taylor,
4
and
winners.
Cole Franzel and Dan Gheesling, and he's up against Lori, the first boot of Big Brother 3. So this is going to be tough.
It's unfortunate for Dan here that he rolled Lori Olsen.
But we're going to talk about Dan first. And, I've said this when some other legendary names came up. We're going to do not the quick version, but like we're not getting into it right now. That'll happen in later rounds. But for now, Amon, we have notes on this man. Played Big Brother once or twice.
All right, Dan. When close ally Brian was evicted week 1, Dan appeared to be on the outs, but managed to get off the radar by giving others the perception that he was not a threat by throwing comps. Week 4, he was voted to be America's Player for the week. Both he and Memphis formed the Renegades, and he successfully completed the America's Player task by casting the deciding vote against Jesse, resulting in his elimination. Dan would make bold moves, such as convincing Ollie to throw an HOH comp to him, only to betray him and get his ally Michelle evicted. The Renegades would dominate the rest of the game and made it to the final 2, where Dan would win in a unanimous 7-0 jury vote. He became the first U.S. winner to succeed in a unanimous vote and play a perfect game. He returned in BB14. He was known for hosting his game's own funeral, which resulted in him getting vetoed off the block when he was the target. After controlling most of the second half of the game, he would manage to convince his teammate Danielle to use the POV on him at Final 4, which enabled him to blindside her showman Shane, and Dana would soon reach the Final 2 once again, still without any votes against him. However, his cutthroat gameplay and the jury's reluctance towards voting for a veteran player would cost him the win against Ian in a 6-1 vote. In 2 appearances, he finished first and second, which is tied with Cody for the best result in 2 appearances, in addition to being the first player to reach the Final 2 twice.
And there it is. And he almost faced off against another legend. Maybe not at the same status of legend, but I would have been very unhappy if that was the matchup here. Max, can I point out also that Dan was almost not on the wheel today. When I got your list and there was no BB10, I said, Max, you haven't seen Big Brother 10? What? And you were like, oh, that's Dan season, right? Never mind. I've seen that.
I have in fact seen that season.
So
yes.
we did not have to.
Both Dan seasons I've watched. Yes.
Very happy to hear that. Just for the sake of a Big Brother fan having seen required Big Brother viewing, don't even know where to start with Dan, but Max,
my goat. Yeah, my goat. Big Brother player turned Twitch streamer, Dan Gheesling.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I think like he is my goat. He's the greatest of all time, in my opinion. I just a joy to watch. I think his funeral is maybe my favorite Big Brother moment, strategically and just dramatically, and it's an all-timer. It's tough to argue with, just across the board. The man knows how to play Big Brother.
Have you ever popped into his Twitch chats?
I watch a lot of Twitch. I'm not an active chatter generally, but yes, I have watched Dan stream. I also like a roguelike, and so I enjoy watching him play through some stuff.
Sometimes I like forget that it's the same Dan Gheesling that is just streaming on Twitch. That is like the same Dan Gheesling that I watched, play all these Big Brother days. Now even more shows such as The Traders, which maybe not something he's super showcasing or showing off that he did. That didn't go so well. But yeah, I'm like, oh, this man's just on Twitch, just talking to his chat as if like he's just any other person. And he is normal guy, just happens to be really good at Big Brother. Amon.
Yeah, I tend to sort of be a contrarian a lot of the time when we get into these conversations about the greats, just because I'm like, y'all, is he that good? Is he that good? But like, I mean, it's hard to argue against him. Like he didn't just play Big Brother, man. He really rewrote some of the rules of how what you could do with your game. Like there's language created in the Big Brother sphere because of him. The funeral, the mist, the shield strategy. Like he's like one of the most dissected and like mythologized players in all of BB history, and it's for good reason. I just think that he just really understood people in the game in a way that really, really just allowed him to maneuver with expertise. And even to the point where like he plays himself into a hole, he was still able to climb out of that hole so masterfully that it's just hard for anybody to ever be able to do that. The closest thing that I think that we kind of saw to someone really digging themselves out of the hole was Chelsea when she and her alliance were down in the dumps, and she was able to go from being at the bottom all the way to the top. But even then, like his showing in BB14 is still just like if you weren't watching and you were just like looking at like the stats every week, and you would see him this close to going home and he doesn't go home, you would rip your hair out. Like, what the hell? Like, I could have bet money that he would be gone. Why is he there? To the point where you call everybody else stupid because what are you doing? But he was just that good. Just that good. And,
I mean, that's what I remember from my first watch of Big Brother 10. I knew the name Dan Gheesling, and I wasn't watching it live. I watched it, many years later through a binge watch. And I'm watching the first couple weeks, and I'm like, huh? He's
yeah, this guy, this is the GOAT.
This is the one. And you kind of get to the end of the season, you see the whole journey, and you then look back. This is from the binge watcher's perspective, and you look back at the first couple of weeks like, okay, so surely like he was doing a lot behind the scenes to keep his threat level as low as possible and completely separate himself from the people that he initially might have thought he was going to work with, using such good tactics with the majority of the house that had formed that he was not a part of, to know that they were going to turn on each other eventually, and just everything that he did maneuvering around all of those very explosive pieces on a game board. Everyone in Big Brother 10, besides him, maybe, besides, I don't know, Memphis is also kind of a calm, chill dude, but everybody else, big personalities around there, and navigating all of that, betraying people left and right, and just making it a part of the game that, like you're saying, Amon, just became then a little bit more accepted because this was gameplay. It wasn't him being a jerk to like ruin people's lives or to just lie for the fun of lying and, do replacement nominee roulette just to like mess with people. He was playing a crazy game that no one has ever imagined in this game before. Obviously, there's some influences of players before him, but he just completely dominated, of course, as we're talking about, comes back in 14, and just the even more impressive work along the way. The funeral, getting himself to one of those final two chairs, and the fact that he doesn't win, that's a whole podcast for another day, and the jury and all that stuff from Big Brother 14. But he's considered the greatest by many, including Max, for a reason. Obviously, he's not everybody's GOAT, but he's a lot of people's GOAT. And I don't know, that feels simple enough to just kind of send him off into round one. Anybody have anything else just like overall on this man?
I think that the last thing I'll say is that there are a lot of great players of Big Brother, right? There are a lot of people that walked into that game and read the rule book and like played within the rules well. There were a few players of Big Brother that read the rule book and said, "Yeah, I'll do other things too," and rewrote the rule book, right? Like they added addendums to the rule book, and to Amon's point, they added new, like, to literally, we needed new words and like lingo to describe what was happening. And Dan is amongst a small group that did rewrite the rule book, right? Like, and so I think those players just stand out, right? We almost rolled somebody else that famously rewrote the rule book.
Yeah.
And so as it turns out, we don't get to do that matchup. Instead, we have a matchup of somebody that of equally storied gameplay in Big Brother, Warrior Olsen. But no, I think that he sits in a small group that didn't just play within the rules, but actually wrote them.
Yeah. And again, Matt, like to what you said earlier, like to do it with the cast of BB10, like with all those crazy people, like.
And it's funny because 14, like, not a better cast of game players by any means. Like, I think there's like nobody left from Big Brother 14 into the next round as far as we're concerned here, and that's round 1. Not a big group of impressive players, so it's not like you can say like, oh, up against that field he dominated. But what he was still able to do along the way with the big threats that popped up, with this guy Ian that he could not get rid of, just navigating everything there when he was dead to rights, and just the biggest moment in Big Brother history. Even if he's not your GOAT, what's a bigger moment in Big Brother history than Dan's funeral? It's just, there's not. I know that conversation doesn't do him justice, but we don't have to get all the way into it.
Again, we're going to be talking about Dan into probably the final episode of this damn podcast, y'all. So
if we had actually rolled my dream of Will and Dan, then I think you really have to break it down, But
I think we would have had to first. I would have said, Max, do you have another 2 hours before we even
right. We need to extend this.
So we're not really quite prepared for that. That like when we get to those later conversations, we'll figure it out then. Well, in the meantime, let's say goodbye to Lori Olsen.
Honestly,
I'm so sorry. Look, she had a good run for 13 days. She got into a fight with Danielle Reyes on national TV. That's a bucket list.
Came into the bathroom and he didn't wash his nasty hands.
Yeah.
I mean, I can still read her notes of posterity.
I mean, we're actually not saying goodbye for forever. She'll be in the losers bracket. Check us out on Patreon.
Exactly. All right, Lori. Lori started the game with a target on her back as she and Jason won a prize, granting them $3,000 for each week spent together in the house. In week 1, Lori was nominated as a pawn to evict Marcellus by Lisa. After Jerry vetoed Marcellus, Lori fell into a vulnerable position. During this time, she also got into an argument with Danielle, which gave her a reputation among the other house guests for being erratic and unpredictable. Despite her making deals with Josh and her strong relationships with Jason, Jerry, and Roddy ended up voting to evict her as he saw her as too much of a wild card. Ultimately, voters within the dominant cartel alliance, Kiara, Eric, Tanya, Roddy, and Josh, along with Marcellus, decided to evict Lori by a vote of 5-4, placing 12th.
Danielle called her, quote, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs during the infamous hand washing fight in the living room. What a time. And also does not make it back into the house despite there being a battle back in Big Brother 3 because she didn't answer the question correctly. They were asked, how much money would you give up of the total prize money? And I don't remember what her answer was, but it wasn't all of it. And I think that had to be the answer to have a chance to get back in. But she said, no, I'm not going back in there unless there's still somebody on the table. Anyway, Max, our first boot, Big Brother 3.
Yep. Again, a hell of a matchup here.
This could not have gone any worse.
Sorry, Lori. We're 2 for 2 on kicking out BB3 tonight.
It's tough. Big Brother 3 on the wheel so far. Now is done. Big Brother 3 joins 11, 17, 18, 20, 24, 25 completed for round 1. Coming into the night, they were doing pretty well. They had 7 winners and 3 losers on the round. Now 7 and 5.
Yeah, I mean,
I imagine that's still my guess, having no real data here, is that's still pretty good for a season.
It's not bad. Yeah, there's definitely seasons that are at the 50% mark or lower. The aforementioned Big Brother 14 currently has 38% of a success rate in matchups. Actually, I haven't factored in Dan to that yet, so a little bit higher. But yeah, bye, Lori.
Bye, girl.
It's a tough
She-
matchup, pal.
She is a pretty iconic first boot. Like
Yeah.
her yelling in all of that matchup, like in that fight with the hand washing, I will never forget. And she goes out like so like not bitter. Like you would think that with as fired up as she was, that she would have been.
What I
a little
didn't
salty.
understand is like I don't understand like why she was getting so upset with Danielle about that. Like Danielle was reasonably grossed out by him not washing his hands, but you got pissed at Danielle and not the person who wasn't washing the hands and also handling food. Like, okay, girl, well, whatever.
Lori, Tanya, Eric, and Jerry. And Roddy now, yes, are the 5 to not make it through to the next round from Big Brother 3.
It's a
But we'll
tough
see.
road for any first boot, but it's even harder when you go against Dan Gheesling.
Yeah.
It sure is.
Mhm.
So that's what we have for matchup number 2. It was by all accounts, a 3-0 vote. We didn't go one by one, but I'm marking that as a 3-0 vote. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Amon, any surprise? No patron vote on Dan Gheesling?
No, I'm not surprised by that at all. I'm like that one's just such an obvious one that I don't think anyone really would have.
But what if it was against like Ashley and there was a patron vote on Ashley and you were like, I want to give Ashley some love?
Well, see you in
Dan
the battle
loses.
back, buddy.
There's a lot of people who also, like Max, have Dan as their GOAT, and nobody said, I just need to make sure that he's in the next round.
No, he doesn't need any help. He's
I
fine.
think if I was going to contribute to somebody on the reel, I'm not putting it behind the person that I just expect is going to beat 99% of competitors, unless you're rolling against a Will or, to your point, like another winner that also gets a patron vote, right? Like I think he probably wins both matchups. So
Yeah.
I'd spend my support on somebody that I want to see move forward that I'm not confident will.
I think that makes a lot of sense, but still just pointing out, no patron vote on Dan. All right. Well, so Max, by the way that this worked last time for you, you had 2 winners. You already got 2 more winners. You don't need another one, right?
No, but I'll take Will Kirby. Let's do no, let me see. Hold on. Let me look at the wheel real quick. I'll take we just had Dan and Lori Olsen. I'll take Will Kirby and Cassie Colvin as my final spin here. Let's make
So you want
it,
to slam dunk? You don't want to like argue a little bit?
I don't know. Let's just keep this train rolling.
Well,
I
actually,
just think it's kind of hilarious that Will is right next to a man that he has a restraining order against on this wheel.
that would be a wild matchup.
hold on.
Let's do it. Will Mike
Shuffle, get him away from there. There's laws against that. All right, that's fixed. All right, let's find out who is kicking us off for our final matchup of the day. We're manifesting. Well, I'm not manifesting.
I actually want like a good like 5-6 placement in both categories. Oh,
How about Ovie?
Aww.
Okay. Ovie's interesting.
Ovie.
Now
How
I don't
about-
want Will. I don't want Will now.
How about we close out Big Brother 21?
Does that close it out?
Closes it out.
Damn. Okay.
Big Brother 21 that currently sits at a 53% success rate. 8 have gone through, 7 have not. Ovie is the last player up here from this season in round 1, and we're going to find out his fate right now.
Yes. All right. Ovie. Despite winning the first Whacktivity comp, Ovie was evicted in week 1 after being placed on the block by HOH Christie. Ovie remained in the house after his eviction because of the camp comeback twist. Ultimately, however, Ovie was unable to win the comeback comp and he was eliminated from the game. Ovie is also remembered for baking cookies in the house and for standing up for Nicole while she was being bullied by the Undeniable Alliance.
Is this not the cutest cast photo you've ever seen in your life?
I know, he's a little cutie patootie.
That smile, the pose, the jacket, the outfit. I think it's whole serve. Big Brother 21 Max, not the most fun season, but the time that we had with Ovie was fun.
Well, so I got love for Ovie, both because of, as Mom mentioned in the recap there, you remember Ovie being this in a pretty detestable moment. Having Ovie stand up and speak up for his fellow house guests was lovely, even if his success in the show didn't continue. It was a nice moment for him, but also was not born and raised East Tennessee. Ovie, a representative of the University of Tennessee, coming to us from Knoxville. I gotta have some love for him too. That's a hometown representative showing up in Big Brother, so I like that as well.
Yeah. Ovie's great. I think most of the Big Brother fandom has probably come to have this love and appreciation for Ovie, even more so after the season, because it just wasn't possible to get as much of a fix of this guy while you were watching the season itself. We know the story of the beginning of this season. He goes out on day 15, as you can see, 15 days played. Of course, camp comeback is a thing, but I don't want to think about it. I don't want to talk about it. Watching him have conversations with people that were still in the game while he obviously was technically outside of the game despite living in the house was not fun. These people did not treat him very well, and he was doing nothing but trying to play Big Brother. And because they had decided he wasn't in their alliance, they said, sorry, no. And I think, I don't know, this isn't part of the game itself, part of the experience of the season, but I think he's gotten some pretty good friendships with a couple of people from this cast. I've seen him post pictures with, a handful of them. That seems like some bridges have been mended and everything is okay now for, again, some relationships. But just at the time, it wasn't fun to watch him have this experience. I believe he was a pretty big fan of the show coming into it. I think that was the case. So to have that be your experience absolutely sucks. And by no means, at least personally, Amon, do I feel like what we saw of what he did in the game, I don't feel like that's representative of like what he could do in the season of Big Brother. It was a really bad draw, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, there really just wasn't much for him to do. It just, that grateful, undeniable, whatever the hell they were calling themselves that any given week, just it didn't give anybody else any room to play. It was just, and if you were caught talking to Nicole, if you were caught talking to Ovie, if you were caught talking to Kemi, if you were caught talking to David, it was, you were done. You were done. You were persona non grata. Like, it was just, there was nowhere for him to go. And unfortunately, he sort of had to be at the center of yet another conversation about race and how it interplays into Big Brother. And he's a part of that dreadful image of the three of them sitting in front of Julie on stage after having to walk out after camp comeback. Just gives me the heebie-jeebies just thinking about it. And yeah, I mean, I don't think that Ovie was a bad player. I just think that the game, like you said, the game just, there really wasn't much for him to do. Like, when half of the cast is socially closed off and the other people that aren't closed off are also just as on the outs as you are, it's, what can you do? So
I mean, while that group, undeniable, whatever, grateful, like, certainly had like this bullying vibe to them, obviously. I don't know that I would go as far as to say that like everyone in there was a bully, but there were definitely bullies in the group, right? Your Jackson, your Jacks that were like straight up when they talked to this to Ovie or to anybody outside of their group. And if they were like, it was giving high school. It was giving like back on the playground, like picking on someone that they thought that they were just so high and mighty and above. And Ovie took it in stride. I feel like is my memory of like, he wasn't like,
just wanted to bake cookies.
Yeah, play Big Brother. And he didn't, I feel like, take it as personally as I took it. Maybe we took it for him. Maybe I'm misremembering, and maybe he did take it personally. But it was really hard to watch, and that's the story.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously there's all kinds of scenarios where you look and you go, oh, if my friends were bullying somebody else, would I speak up? And obviously Big Brother is an incredibly complicated situation to be in that in, because you are competing in a game and these social connections are, but boy, do you wish that if you were in that room with those people that were being horrendous to other people about things that had absolutely nothing to do with this game, that you would speak up. And, to Ovie's credit, he, not being in a position of power at all, still spoke up for someone else, and went to bat for somebody else. even as he was being treated, even as he was being ostracized. And so you wish more of the folks, regardless of who they are. You wish more of the folks that were in that room that could have spoken up in the moment, and but still give Ovie his flowers for just clearly being a great person in an incredibly trying moment. And so I agree. I don't think he got a fair shot. I would have loved to have seen him on a season where things like your ability to play the game actually were the reason people treated you different, and made judgments about relationships instead of things that have nothing to do with the game.
Right.
Yeah.
Max, have you ever applied, or do you want to play Big Brother at any point in your life?
I have applied. It is the only reality show I would play. I think, I have no interest in even though I'm obsessed with Love is Blind, I have no need to enter that in my life. But Big Brother has been a long time fair. I would play. Yeah, I think.
Okay, so that's
I would. They're banging on my door.
If they're watching more Twitch streams, they would. But so that's obviously something that you guys have in common. I can't really say that I can't follow the same, like I can still put myself in the scenario of this next question, which is just like, imagine, you finally get in there after all the time of wanting to be in there and you have that experience. It's really shitty to imagine that like you're just completely shut out and nobody even gives you the time of day. It would be tough.
There was one conversation. It's not funny, but you kind of just have to like laugh through the pain. There was a conversation in the feed, so cut it off real quick. It was David, Kemi, and Ovie were sitting in the kitchen just kind of like silently. And David was like, "Camp Comeback's looking kind of colorful." And then the feed's cut. I'm like, "Oh no, put it back on, baby. I want to hear this.
Air it. Air it. Cowards. Air it."
No, we pulled back, players from Big Brother 21 immediately into 22, and of course that's going to end up being Nicole Anthony and David. But like, Ovie was right there.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say? I mean, any combination of those four would have been fine for me. So.
All right. Well, I do fear for Ovie with this wheel because it is so heavy. And look, Will is right back next to Boogie. Why is this happening?
What is going on with your wheel, man?
I don't know. But
away.
I'm not fixing it this time.
Really
if they want to fix it,
that's true.
One of them is going to have to get off the wheel the normal way, and that's by getting pulled here. One last player for today. We've closed out 2 seasons, Big Brother 3 and 21. Could do it again. There's a couple other seasons here.
I'd like to see it be interesting. Let's pull like a Cassie Corbin now. I know I joked about that earlier, but let's make it interesting.
Lauren, Big Brother 27. I think you got your interesting matchup.
It is at least interesting.
I think this is interesting. I think there's merit to both ways that this one could go. Lauren from Big Brother 27, while slow and steady, maybe a little too slow. Max, let me make the Disney comparison. The Sloth in Zootopia is what Lauren's game was like.
Flash, 100-yard dash.
That's what I heard. That's what I saw every time Lauren talked games.
Sweet Lauren.
You know, I
need to start off with the
Zootopia 2. I haven't seen it yet.
I've heard it's great.
Is it good?
I've heard. I haven't seen anything, but I've heard it's good. Yeah.
Okay.
I like Zootopia a lot.
I'll have seen it, but I also, to further the Disney conversation, I thought the new Zootopia show in Animal Kingdom was good. People say it sucks. I thought it was good.
I thought it was fine.
I thought it was cute.
Interesting.
It's made for kids.
Okay.
It's great.
It was fine. My hot take is I thought the Bugs Life show was better.
Yeah.
They got rid of the Bugs Life show and replaced it?
They did. Yeah. I agree. Amon, you're about to be the fun uncle, in your family. Do you think that child is ever going to know a Bug's Life? Hey,
yes!
The anti-capitalist message of the Bug's Life is incredibly important.
Yes. And we're all Disney people here. Did we not watch Snow White? Did we not watch Cinderella? Did we not watch Sleeping Beauty? You gotta teach the children, okay? They have to hear it all.
All right. Well, okay. I would just like you to report back when you do the first showing of A Bug's Life.
That movie holds up. I just watched it.
So
I will
Well-
let you know. I'll actually be in Disney next year for his first birthday. I mean, he won't remember any of that shit, but
You
It's
will.
really for you, not him.
but I will be. I will remember everything, except for
Whatever. I thought it was cute, but that's okay. All right, let's talk about Big Brother 27's Lauren. What a season with Lauren. Amon, do we have notes on her?
We do.
Okay, great.
All right, Lauren, a timid personality, Lauren made a final 2-pact with Vince and often made moves that benefited his game over hers, resulting in her disastrously indecisive week 3 HOH reign and several of her other allies' evictions. They're dragging her. Her closeness to Vince caught the ire of Morgan Pope, who frequently pushed for Vince to choose between the two, particularly after Lauren's second HOH in week 9. When Vince won the week 10 HOH, Morgan manipulated Vince into naming Lauren as the replacement nominee against his wishes. Though Lauren saved herself in the final blockbuster, Morgan won the double eviction HOH and targeted Lauren again, and she was evicted in a 2-1 vote after losing the POV, placing 6th and becoming the 4th juror.
So I want to take us all back to, and Max, I'm not sure, just how deep you were into the feeds during her first HOH week. It was only week 3, but that's where I kind of want to start. Just when the first opportunity came to really see what she was made of, she had the power of HOH, a very important power in this house, and she couldn't look people in the face, and that would come to be her game and her personality the entire way through. Just can't make eye contact. I'm gonna be as timid and vague as possible with every conversation that I have, unless it's with Vince.
She did love that TV though.
She loved.
She was locked. She was locked in on that television.
I mean, people on Blue Sky were calling her like the iPad baby because she just was glued to the screen.
That's funny.
Like a baby.
Listen, we've all been changed by COVID. That's not her fault.
Yeah. But what'd you make of Lauren, Max, throughout the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think Lauren. This is what I've heard a lot of people say. I agree. Is just like she seems so nice. Like she just seems like a very nice girl. And so I don't want to say anything bad about her because she seems very sweet. But like in terms of impactful gameplay, I don't think there's much to be reported here. Like, yeah, she's got some wins. I mean, undeniably, she got some comp wins, which we can't give to her competitor here. She has some physicality and athleticism that showed up in some of those comps, which is to her benefit here. But in terms of like what impact did she have on the game other than as a vote, not a lot.
Yeah. Similarly, she's nice. She's a nice girl. She's a cute girl. I feel like that's the only reason she was cast. No disrespect to the girl. She's lovely, but like, what was in the casting? Like, why did someone be like, that's the girl I want? She needs to be on Big Brother. Really? Like, for what? Like, there was just not a lot going on. But with that being said, someone who is like that is going to do very well most of the time. Like, positioning is everything in Big Brother. And she was positioned fairly well throughout the entire time there. The worst thing for her game was trusting Vince, and then also being in the crosshairs of Morgan because she was perceived as a threat for Vince's attention. So it's just like, maybe if that didn't exist, maybe there's a world in which she goes a little even further. I don't know, but like, she's always going to do well. She's always going to be liked. No one's going to really think that she's a threat, even though she wins HOHs, because when she wins her HOH, she lets everyone else control it. So she just feels very much like amenable to whatever it is that you want. Like, she's one of those people that you can just reflect yourself onto. Like, whatever you want her to do, she'll probably do it if you're in good with her. So it's just, she's very easy to play with. She just doesn't really play well for herself. But and also just like no killer instinct either. She's just not, she doesn't go in for the kill. Like, she talks about like, oh yeah, I got to go after Morgan. But like, are you actually going to? Like, I don't know.
It's just so nothing. It was so tough to watch these conversations that she had with anyone other. Like, I think to the Rachel and Lauren conversations, any of them were impossible because Rachel was just trying to get a crumb out of her of like, what can we do in this game? And of course, like, should Lauren have staked her claim on like being with Rachel the entire season? No, like you don't want to work with Rachel to the final two, whatever. Like, but that is, she's obviously whenever we have these returning players, we always talk about like work with them if it's clear that everybody else is kind of trying to work with them. Don't be the opposition. And Rachel was never able to believe that Lauren could have been a possibility for her because Lauren never convinced her in even the smallest way. She would just nod and she would say, yeah, yeah, no, yeah, like we could work together. The decision to use the veto on Vince obviously is a big point in her game. And then Riley goes out after, Catherine was saying, don't do it. Riley was saying, go for it. Hard for me to totally say that, using the veto on your closest ally is not a good idea, but also the conversations with Rachel, where Rachel did specifically tell her it's going to be one of your other allies that goes up. Maybe there was a world that it was more likely that Vince stayed. I don't know. There's a lot that went into that week in that decision, but it's just like overall, this looks like a player. Like the resume, she was the last one to be nominated this season. Besides Rachel, Rachel doesn't get nominated. She just leaves. She loses the game. However, I'm making air quotes. Lauren is the last one to get nominated. On paper, feels like a good player, but just watching every time that she opened her mouth, barely, it doesn't impress me at all. And she's up against someone who didn't really get a chance to show much of his game, but obviously she has so much more. So I really don't know what to do here, even though I don't know. I mean, I'm not voting yet, but I don't know.
I think that the thing that I'm thinking as I hear you all talk and I sort of think about this matchup is, and this is obviously not a reflection of who Lauren is as a person. We've all said, like, I think she seems genuinely nice.
Yes.
I have no idea. I've never interacted with her, but like the thing that I'm having a hard time with is if Lauren is in BB21, she's in that HOH room. Like she's definitely in Undeniable, right?
Yeah.
Just because of the archetype she falls into, they would have welcomed her in. And so if she's in the same scenario, she moves on. And I don't know what to do with that, but I can't help but think about it.
I mean, I can't help but think of like the way that she approached, again, that HOH week, or really any other time. She had 2 HOHs. Like anytime that she had to make a decision, the decision to use the veto on Vince or not, she just gets so stressed and so scared. And you can't go into Big Brother being afraid. Like, yeah, you can be like nervous about what's going to happen about a decision that you're going to make, but she was truly terrified of her own shadow, of every other person in the game. She didn't want to make decisions because she was afraid that somebody would come and yell at her about it. She had no, like, and I think age was a very big factor in it. How many times are we going to say it? She seems very nice, but she just is not a person that's made to go in there. And it's not even like everyone has to go in there and play Dan Gheesling's game. That's not what I'm asking, but just have a little bit of confidence and back up your own. Like if you're going to make a decision, if you were going to put Rachel on the block, whatever you were going to do, make the move and have the conversations with people after. Don't be afraid that you like can't do something because you don't want to get yelled at. Like that's just, it's so silly. And I listened to, many a rant from like Taryn or, any of us on the live feed updates talking about like, how did she get through casting? It's just,
I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. You have people that are so, you know what? No, I'm not doing it.
She seems so nice. But what?
I think I know what I'm going to do here.
You're welcome to go first.
I think I'm going to actually go ahead and give it to Lauren here.
Oh, interesting.
And I get it. I mean, I'm saying all this bad stuff about Lauren, but like my mind's not made up at all. Like I think there's still a very good case for her.
I wasn't even thinking about like placing Lauren in DBB21 like you did, Max, but that's a very good point, and I agree. I think that I think she basically takes Annalise's spot in that instance. But apart from that, I do because we did talk a lot about like all the cards that were stacked against Ovie. But if I'm gonna play devil's advocate and try to find some of his own weaknesses outside of the unfortunate circumstances, I do think, if I remember correctly, there were moments where I feel like he was really trying to game hard in the beginning without really having any of those connections yet. Now, obviously, it was compounded by the fact that there was a mega alliance forming that made it that much harder. But I do think that there was sort of like this tendency to be like, okay, this is the plan. This is what we're gonna do, guys. This is how we're gonna play this game together.
Yeah.
And it's like you gotta get that shit wet first. You know what I mean? Like you gotta warm butter people up.
Whoa.
Wow.
Right? You know, and waiting for this podcast all the
I
way up.
loved that. That was great.
Oh.
So I don't think that Lauren is ever going to behave that way. Which, on one hand, it's like, okay, that's also not the greatest, but I also feel like it lands her in less trouble. You know what I mean?
Orange is never going to get in the pool, is what you're saying. She's
exactly.
not even.
Yeah, it's going to be dry. It's going to be real dry. Okay. And and also, you know, with the comp wins, obviously she's able to win comps, and we didn't really get a chance to see a lot from Ovie, but I do think that she has him there. And I think that she's just, yeah.
What do you guys think about Lauren and how forgiving she was to Vince, even after like the betrayal? Like the big moment for Lauren ends up being when Vince does put her on the block, right? I'm making sure I'm remembering correctly. He puts her on the block after he initially did not. Morgan was pushing for him to do so. And then after the veto, and he needs a renom because Morgan's going to take Keanu, right? Or someone down, whoever it ended up being. And then she ends up going up on Vince's HOH. And she says, seemingly genuinely, I forgive you.
Yeah, I think she's a bad player, Matt. That's what I think, is I think she's bad at the game.
But because I think the tough part about that was that, you know, where else was she going to go? She had the little girls clique that was forming with her, Ava and Kelly at that point, but still like a little worthwhile to keep Vince. It's just like, it's one thing if she actually still felt good with Vince, or if she was just saying that, and it kind of felt like she still felt okay with him.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting that she had a better option. I'm just saying she knew this one was a fire. Yeah. So like anything is better than a fire, right? Like even if you don't know, it's like, well, I know this is going to burn me. Yeah. I got to stop doing that to myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm going to vote for Ovie.
Ooh. You gonna let me tie break here? That's so exciting.
Yeah. I'm going to vote for Ovie. Everything we've said about Lauren, it's like the data is a little incomplete on Ovie, and while I do 100% recall what Amon's talking about with Ovie at the beginning of the game, it was a little bit of, you know, maybe rushing into the game, not super picking up on what the dynamics of the house were, where he was not really in all the way at all, obviously, but kind of felt a little bit more like he was and wasn't reading that all the way through. So there was definitely some that wasn't just like, oh, the house is shunning him. Like this is like a little bit on him that was actively not the best there as well. But I still think the potential is there. I don't think he's afraid of his own shadow. I don't think he's afraid to make a move in this game. If he ever had the opportunity to do so, it might not have been the best move. If he won week 2 HOH, maybe he goes along with Grateful and whatever plan that they set in place. And maybe he makes the worst move of all time and evicts, I don't know, Nicole. I don't know. I don't have that information, but the game that I watched Lauren play, I just am so not impressed by, and rewarding that with a win over someone who I don't know is bad at the game is hard for me to do. Max.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's really interesting, this wheel that you all have concocted, because obviously you have to have first outs on there. You're doing every player. Boy, is it a tough road to hoe for them to move on. You know, like that is that they are going against people that objectively have done better than them. They've gotten out first. And so Ovie is already in a tough spot here, not to mention all of the things that were stacked up against him in the beginning. I do think Lauren is such an interesting competitor, because while she saw success, I don't know that any of us attribute that success to her necessarily. Like, yeah, undeniably she won those competitions, but if you got HOH and then you didn't actually do anything with the power, what difference does it make? You know, like if you got veto and then you didn't decide really yourself how to use it, what difference does it make? You know, like the power is almost, it should be attributed to somebody else, in the same way that we talk about Morgan having all of Vince's HOHs. We should say the same about every one of Lauren's powers too, right? And so with that being said, I guess it's really difficult for me to decide. You all being split, I think, is indicative of this. And so then I asked myself, okay, if we were going to play Big Brother again today and you put them both in a house, who do I think fares better than they did the first time? And I think Lauren plays the exact same game that Lauren played and does not fare any better on a second run if she had a chance. Whereas I do think Ovie probably does. And so I have to give it to Ovie.
Do you think that changes at all if Lauren is 26, let alone, not 22?
I mean, maybe, but
Yeah,
like
hard to
maybe
say,
not.
obviously. Yeah.
It's hard to say,
Yeah.
What life experience has Lauren had in the 4 years?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I mean, that was like a big narrative, obviously, for like a Haley Brocker BB20.
Sure.
Like everyone's saying, oh, she would have been so much better, if it was a couple of years later. And, for anyone that's been able to see what Haley's been up to in life, just seems like she's gone through, a couple of years of life. And maybe that would be the case, but it's hard to say. We only know what we saw.
Yeah.
Max, I am glad that you voted that way, though, because if you had voted for Lauren and then I had to tell you that we had a patron vote on Ovie, which we do, a tiebreaker goes to the patron vote. So it wouldn't have mattered, I guess, at that point. But luckily, this is a 3-1 vote. Ovie goes through to the next round. I'm sorry, Amon.
That's all right. No, I think that's fair. And I'm glad that Ovie gets another shot, considering, what he went through. And yeah, I think I agree. I think that Lauren probably plays the same way. I just think it's a very safe way to play, and she probably makes it to jury each and every time. So, but do you really win? Can you get a win, Lauren?
Girl.
People were thinking, and people is me to an extent thinking like, okay, well, if she keeps the comp wins coming and she gets there, she's a contender to win. People would still vote for her in the end, even though she wasn't a very good social player. But if she just had a bunch of comps and she didn't offend anybody along the way, maybe. But that's not how I want someone to try to play the game. It would have been an accident almost if she ended up there, or just comps, and that's not the most impressive to me. So
I'm curious. How many first outs have you had move on?
So I recently put some stats together on all that. I've got that ready to go. Well, so it's tough because first out can be 16th place, 15th place, 14th, 13th.
Sure, yeah, of course.
Let's see. Ovie specifically finished in 15th place, and 15th placers. He is now the 6th to go through, while 15 have not. Look at that. Yeah. 5 and 15 bumped up now to 6 and 15 with Ovie advancing to the next round. And yeah, Max, you keep calling him first boot. Rude to David.
So sorry.
You got to get Ovie on the podcast. Now that I think about it, how come we haven't asked him?
I have.
Oh, never mind.
Hopefully, we can make that happen soon, though. It's not that he said no. I just haven't gotten an answer, but it's okay. We'll make it happen.
He's a busy guy.
He's a busy guy. But that's, I think, it for today. Let me recap. What a crazy day. Hope this is what you thought you were signing up for, Max. In the latest round, we did just send Ovie from Big Brother 21 through, closing the book on BB21, where Lauren from Big Brother 27 is not advancing. She will be eligible for the battle back vote. And let me just tell you the BB21 stats. We end on 9 going through, 7 not. Is Big Brother 21's record. Not bad for a season like that.
Especially for BB21.
Big Brother 10 winner.
And the winner didn't even make it through.
No, he was one of the first to be eliminated of this entire round. Jackson's not in. Ovie is. We love that.
I do love that. I agree.
Jack Matthews also not in round 2. So
yeah.
Unfortunately, we couldn't. I don't think David or Kemi are in round 2 either, but at least Ovie is.
Yeah, we couldn't swing those ones, unfortunately.
Dan Gheesling, Max's go.
Yes.
My go.
Has advanced to the next round. It was not against Will Kirby. Will Kirby remains on the wheel, but it was against another legend, and that is Big Brother 3's Lori Olsen, which closed out Big Brother 3 today, which also, of course, involved Roddy Mancuso from Big Brother 3. A pretty good player goes out in a tough matchup against BB27 winner Ashley Hollis. Max, again, 2 winners coming your way. I don't know how you do it, but you do it.
Listen, I've got a brand here. I got to keep it up.
Love it. Max, where can people find you if they're looking for more from you on Twitch, on YouTube, anywhere?
Yeah, if you're interested in theme park, themed entertainment, or travel content, check out Mammoth Club on YouTube. We are 3 former Disney cast members that like to go visit Disney, Universal, also travel the world. We went to Paris this year. We're hitting all the different castles around the world as well. We also have a sister channel there where you'll find YouTube content of our live stream content, Mammoth Club streams. And then finally, I stream twice a week, Tuesdays and Saturday evenings on Twitch at twitch.tv/Mr. Duckfist.
Are the plushies back in stock? Do you know?
Yeah. You can check out our merch as well if you want a plush orange, teal, I should say, tangerine, teal, and fuchsia mammoth. Check it out.
Right on your microphone. Right
That's right here. Mammothclub.shop.
I went to go look last time and they were sold out. So I have to get myself over there. But Max, thank you so much for joining us yet again. Can't wait for you to continue to pull 2 winners next time you come on as well. Sometime in round 2 or beyond.
Can't wait.
Aman, anything else for you at the moment?
Nope, probably still just revving up for Drag Race. So I'm sure that will be coming to you guys very soon. So make sure you check out me, Leon, and Beth over there. But that's it for me.
Well, Big Brother US, big day today for them, but BB Can, I believe, if I got the schedule right, one more all BB Can episode coming your way later this week. So keep an eye out for that. A very busy December around here for us, and that just means that round 1 will be coming to an end a little bit sooner, but that means we can get to round 2 even sooner. So can't wait for all that. Lots of fun stuff coming your way. Patreon.com/The Diary Room if you want to support us and get in on the fun even ahead of round 2. We're going to have a lot of good stuff happening over there when the time comes. Otherwise, find me on the Free Agents podcast talking all things the challenge, the traders, recently wrapping up the season of The Amazing Race. Lots of fun over there. But that's it for now. Aman, let's go.
Yes. Our thanks to Max from Mammoth Club once again. And until next time, guys, please go to the diary room.